state capitol newsroom. Praise for President Joe Biden after his move to pardon those with certain cannabis charges.
Well, the pardon applies to anyone who has a federal offense or simple possession. State Capitol reporter Chris O'Brien joins us live now after gathering some local reaction to this move. Chris, what can you tell us?
Alex, Mark, good evening. As you might have guessed, the reaction has been very divided. Most Republicans are against the move, and of course, most Democrats are for it. For those who have been there, it's a relief.
I think it feels great for them. I mean, like, I can imagine, like, if I was to be able to get a pardon, like, it would be, it would be great. You would not have to continue to be subjected to all of the collateral consequences that people are subjected to.
President Joe Biden announced a pardon for people with simple cannabis possession charges at the federal level. Nikita Haynes went to federal prison on cannabis charges, though the pardon won't apply to her because her charge wasn't possession. She says it's a good first step, even if it isn't enough.
It is a step in the right direction to restoring the harm, but, with the United States having the highest incarceration rate, in the entire, world, with, people now profiting off of marijuana, but yet you still have people that are serving time, people that are experiencing collateral consequences. We're definitely waiting and expecting the president to do more than what he did yesterday.
Biden also made the note that cannabis is classified the same as heroin and a step above fentanyl, and he's right. Heroin and cannabis are Schedule I drugs, while fentanyl is a Schedule II, even though in 2020 alone, fentanyl accounted for over 50,000 deaths around the country. For comparison, there were just over 1,000 deaths linked to cannabis from the turn of the century till now.
People have come to realize that the sky doesn't fall by using cannabis. People all of a sudden don't become lazy. And so people are looking at it as an alternative to pharmaceuticals, to alcohol, to many of the other things that you typically see people use from a recreational perspective or from a medical perspective.
Of course, not everyone is following Biden's lead. He urged governors to follow suit with similar state charges, so we reached out to Governor Bill Lee's office. The response was to the point, with his press secretary saying, "We're not considering this in Tennessee." And the announcement comes at such an interesting time, right? We have an election coming up in just over a month here. You have to imagine, you can understand at some level, people criticizing President Biden for making this move and potentially to try and give Democrats some momentum heading into the polls in November. Look here in Tennessee, right? Surveys have shown that over 80% of people want cannabis legislation in some way, shape, or form. Will it make a difference for our election come November? Well, that remains to be seen. But for now, here in Nashville, Chris O'Brien, News 2.